to what is essentially going to be part 2 of my original Xbox collection. I'm probably going to have to split this into sort of like 5 videos given the amount I've got. And yeah, so this is going to cover numbers through to the beginnings of F, based on looking at the shelf there. So yeah, let's just start, shall we? So, first game up, we have 187 Ride or Die. It's kind of a typical sort of car shooter, I guess, is the term I'd be looking for. Yeah, I've not really played it, so I can't really comment properly on it. Next up, we have Advent Rising. So this is kind of it's another. I think it's a third-person shooter. Again, it's not one that I've played much on. And we have an amazing game, Alien Hominid. So this has got fantastic graphics. They're very much in the style that you've seen on the front cover. You kind of you're shot down and you've got to fight stuff effectively. Interesting game. I enjoyed the bits and pieces I played of it. Then we have Alter Echo. Again, not one that I've done much with, so I can't really comment. My aim is to probably start doing maybe a series where I play through these games. A sort of a tactics game. We have Aliens vs Predator Extinction. So you play. You can play as aliens, predators, or the humans, and it's essentially you. So it's kind of like from memory, it's kind of like a Command and Conquer style strategy game. First person shooter, we have America's Army, Rise of a Soldier. It's okay, it's nothing immense. Ubisoft made it. It looks to be actually produced by the US Army. Yeah. One that's not that easy to find, and the sequel's even harder to find, and that is American Chopper. So I only bought it, as you can see, I got this on the Northern Road trip from Lee's Games. Yeah, I was impressed to find it. It's a road riding game as far as I can tell. And we have another racing game, sort of kart type game, Ants Racing. I think your karts are essentially other insects. I'm doing this the wrong way. I need to fix this so it's easy for me to put back on the shelf basically. Yeah, there we go. Then we have another racing game. We have Arctic Thunder, another one that I picked up at these games. Essentially it's a snowmobile racing game. Then Area 51. So this is another sort of third-person shooter. You discover the truth about UFOs. When I don't break them. We then have Armed and Dangerous. So yeah, it's again, I believe another third-person shooter made by LucasArts. And Army Men, Major Malfunction. So these are quite. They're not expensive, but they're quite sort of hard to find. Then the Xbox has got loads of these. We have the Atari Anthologies, loads of anthologies on it. There's 18 classic arcade games and 67 2600 games on this. Not going to go through and look at what all the games are, but yeah, as I say, there's a lot of these anthologies, these types of collections on the original Xbox, so it's really good to be able to get them and play them. Backyard Wrestling. So there's no real famous people in the first one, I don't believe, but you'll see now from the second one that we have on the front here, we have New Jack, who I believe died recently. I don't know who the lady is, and then one of the Insane Clown Posse. There's a few more famous wrestling type people in this. It's okay, it's not the worst. Theme third person shooter, we have Bad Boys 2. You can see I bought it in CEX. Another one from CEX. This is sort of, I believe it's a Diablo style game. We have Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. I know Baldur's Gate's a big series on its own. I'm just trying to think of something to compare it to. And then we have the sequel, Dark Alliance 2. Barbarian. So again, another CEX purchase. Came from Cosmic Collectibles originally. I need to clean all these up and take all these labels off of them. It's kind of an arena style fighting game. Then we have the start of the Batman subset on the original Xbox. We have Batman Dark Tomorrow. So this is more of a, this is kind of a darker style Batman. It's not got the animated style that it looks to have on the front. Then we have the film tie-in, Batman Begins. One of the more animated style ones, The Rise of Shinsu. And another Batman animation style one, Batman Vengeance. Mr. Freeze seems to be the big bad guy in Batman Vengeance. We have Battle Engine Akia. It's like I think it's a sort of third-person mech shooter. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. Everybody knows what Battlefield is. I'm not going to bore you with that. Beatdown Fists of Vengeance. So it's, as it says on the tin, it's a fighting game by Capcom. I think it's very similar to kind of the Yakuza style. This had a HD remake. It was also on the 360. There was a sequel slated, Beyond Good and Evil. There was a sequel slated, but I think it got canned. Then we have Big Mother Truckers. I really love the title of this game. It's fantastic. It's a truck racing game, starter type game. And its sequel, Big Mother Truckers 2, Truck Me Harder. It's just phenomenal titles. Absolutely belting first person shooter in black. Doesn't have much of a story. I've done a review on it, I think. But it's a fantastic game to play. The sound effects on it are amazing as well. Then we have Blade 2, film tie-in. It's a fighting game. Amazing series of games. Blood Omen 2. I think it's Legacy Kane series is just phenomenal. These 3D ones are not as I still really love Blood Omen. I think it's a absolutely belting game, and it's a series that is crying out for a remake or even a new game. We have Blood Rain. I think Blood Rain is essentially a spy and you're fighting vampires. And then its sequel, Blood Rain 2. One for the dads, BM Triple X. So I think this does have like proper strip sequences in it, and it's BMX focused, but you can do, I don't know, there's loads of, like I say, strip sequences in it. Then we have Breakdown, which is a first-person sort of action-adventure game. Another fantastic series of games. We've got Broken Sword, The Sleeping Dragon. More first-person shooters. Brothers in Arms, Hell's Highway. So Earned in Blood, sorry, not Hell's Highway. Hell's Highway is on 360, I think. They're set in the First World War, the Brother in Arms games. And then the Road to Hill 30. Again, they're based on true stories, I think, around the First World War. Bruce Lee, Quest of the Dragon, fighting game starring the legend that is Bruce Lee. The sequel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleed. So the original was Xbox, only on Xbox, and then the sequel I think came to different consoles. Leaning Tower of Green here. fantastic series of games when it came out. Burnout, I love the Burnout games. Basically, it's a racing game where you cause as much destruction as possible. Then its sequel, Point of Impact. And then the sequel to that, we have Takedown. And then the fourth in the series, I think the last one on the original Xbox, we have Burnout Revenge. Horror game by Bethesda, actually. It's one of the more expensive original Xbox games. It's not super expensive. We have Call of Cthulhu. Then Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. The Capcom Classics Collection. So this is another one of those fantastic collections. So it's got 1942, 1943, 43 Kai, Bionic Commando, Exodexes, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, Gunsmoke, Legendary Wing, Mercs, Pirate Ship Higemaru, Section Z, Sun, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Edition, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Trojan and Vulgus. Fantastic collections to get. And then we have Capcom Fighting Jam. So this includes people from Street Fighter, Darkstalkers and Red Earth, I think. And we have Capcom versus SNK. Is there anybody massively recognisable? Honda, Ryu, Guile, Cammy, Ken. So there's quite a few recognisable characters in there. This was a great cartoon. I seem to remember for some reason years ago it being a great cartoon when I was a lot younger. I think it was called Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, the cartoon when I was younger. This is Carmen Sandiego, The Secret of the Stolen Drum. And the last one for this pile, we have Cars. So I'm going to quickly jump cut, grab the other pile, and then come back. So yeah, here we are back to the second part. So first game up, no introduction needed. We have Champ Manager 5. I think there was 2002-2003 is an only on game, and then Champ Manager 5 came out on multiple consoles. A jet ski racer in Carve. Film tie-in, Catwoman. The film is awful, but I just want to see what the game was like. It wasn't expensive, it was £2 in CEX. Phenomenal kart racer with cel-shaded graphics. We have Cell Damage. Another film tie-in, Chicken Little. Survival horror game, Cold Fear. It's set on a ship from memory. It is set on a ship. And Colin McRae 3. I enjoy the Colin McRae rally games. The first one on the PlayStation was probably my favourite racer. And Colin McRae 4. Commandos Strike Force. First person shooter set around the Second World War. We have Conflict Desert Storm, which is a third-person shooter, sort of set around. It's not sort of set around. It's set during the First Iraq War, given the title, I would imagine. And its sequel, Conflict Desert Storm 2. Then we have Conflict Global Storm, which has quite a cool sort of foil case artwork. And Conflict Vietnam. We then have Conan, which I thought was in a foreign language on the back then, but it's not. Another film tie-in, we have Constantine. Constantine's not a bad film, to be fair. Very much a crash racing game, Crash. And another one set very much in the Burnout style, we've got Crash and Burn. Crash Nitro Karts, which came out before Tag Team Racing, I believe. Crash Twinsanity. So in this one, you join forces with what's he called? Is he called Cortex? The bad guy that you've been fighting. Crazy Taxi 3. A TV show tie-in now. CSI, Crime Scene Investigations. Don't think it's even on TV anymore. One that I found randomly, Curse, Eye of Isis. I think it's a sort of third-person adventure game set in Victorian times. Another TV show tie-in. We have Dark Angel, which according to this has an interview with Jessica Alba, who plays Max, and an extensive photo gallery of Max. Now pulling dads. Snowboarding game, Dark Summit. Not quite as good as Cool Borders, but still reasonably good. And we have Dark Watch, which is a third-person sort of vampire setting in cowboy times. Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX. It's actually pretty cool. It's along the same lines as Tony Hawk's. Dead Man's Hands. I can't even remember where I got this from. Dead Man's Hand, even. Hand. Dead or Alive 3. Dead to Rights. It's a cool game where you can command your dog. And then it's your wolf really, and then it's sequel Dead to Rights 2. I think it's a remake of an older game. We have Defender. It's kind of like a 3D version, whereas the older one wasn't. More 2D. This game has had a remaster recently. It's Destroy All Humans. And its sequel, Destroy All Humans 2, which are absolutely brilliant games. Very, very funny. From a cartoon, we've got Digimon, Rumble Arena 2. Poor man's Pokemon, I believe. Die Hard Vendetta. It's a first-person shooter set in the Die Hard world. the out there sequel to Dino Crisis 1 and 2, we've got Dino Crisis 3. Dinotopia, The Sunstone Odyssey. Not one I know much about. You look like you ride around on dinosaurs. Doom 3, which is now available on original Xbox, on Series X even, via Game Pass. Dragon's Lair 3D, The Return to the Lair. Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. I recently got Dreamfall Chapters, I believe, on more modern consoles. Driver 3. Driver Parallel Lines, which is quite cool. You get like two different settings in 78 and 2006. Dr. Muto. Enclave, which is a third person hack and slash. The Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick. It's just hilarious. And then the Evil Dead Regeneration. I think they're the only two Evil Dead games that are on this. F1 Career Challenge. Part of the reason I don't want to go for a full set, because I don't want all these rubbish sports titles. Fable The Lost Chapters. Absolutely love the Fable series. God, I would highly recommend it. This one wasn't that great of a game. It's Family Guy, the video game. Not great. Film tie-in. Film was awful as well. Fantastic Four. And then finally, we've got 2 copies of this game. So the first one is just a standard copy. The second one is Fahrenheit in this lovely slipcover. The reason I've got the 2 copies is one was sent to me by, I think it was Cooper's World, and I don't want to get rid of it, basically. So yeah, that is my original Xbox collection up to F. I will put these back on the shelves and then carry on with the different ones. I'll do that in another video. So all that's left for me to do is thank you for watching. I have been Nick, and I will catch you on the next one.